Welcome to part 2 of my special look back at some classic PS3 games, both good and bad, that I've recently unlocked the Platinum Trophy in, and in particular the BS trophies I unlocked along the way. So first up today is Iron Man 2, which has a really tedious trophy called Anger Management that requires you to completely level an enemy compound, and it's honestly the worst trophy in the game for me, as it's just so frustrating to unlock, as there's so much things for you to destroy. So after making your way over to the right compound, please make sure you get the right one before you start this. You should first deal with all of the enemies here, otherwise they're just going to get in your way. So once they are all wiped out, you now just need to destroy all of the buildings and objects in this area using Iron Man's rockets and lasers, which does sound fun, but as soon as you start to destroy things, you'll likely begin to start seeing problems with this trophy, as it's really hard to actually tell what is fully destroyed and what isn't. You see, some buildings, when you shoot them with missiles, will blow up completely and they'll be fully leveled, while others aren't even affected by your weapons at all. They'll still be standing in pristine condition, and then other ones that you do destroy will only become partially destroyed but won't be impacted any further structurally by the rockets. Yet sneakily, you still actually need to destroy the doors and windows on those buildings for them to count as destroyed. It's not just that, but there are other little things like containers that you'll find on the floor. Some of them can be blown up, but others can't, and it just all amounts to what is essentially a not very well thought out or designed trophy. And when your rockets blow up something, but not all of it, it just seems really picky, and it ruins this trophy. So what should have been a fun and reckless way to just let off some steam and blow up a few things for a few minutes becomes this really drawn out and confusing slog where you'll spend like 20 minutes or so shooting at every fence, bin, window, door, wall and container, hoping that that will finally be the one to push you over that hidden destruction percentage amount that finally triggers this trophy to unlock. Because of course, there's no way to actually track in-game how much is actually left for you to destroy. Iron Man doesn't have a special vision mode either to highlight things in yellow that can be destroyed so that you can easily spot the things you're missing. And when you're at like 80 to 90% of your way there, that last 10 or 20% is just you hunting for small things to blow up, and it becomes a real pain to do. And it reminded me of that painting trophy in Epic Mickey Rebrush where you had to repair the whole town. The same thing happened there with that one, where I couldn't find the very last thing I needed for ages, wasting so much time and just ruining that experience. So yeah, in the end, this anger management trophy just becomes an absolute fail, and one that I just really didn't like doing at all. I just wanted it to be over, and I was praying every time I blew up something else that it would just finally end and pop this trophy. And eventually it did, but yeah, this one just was not good. And the game itself is, well, it is crap, to be fair, let's be honest. It's not a very good game anyway, and this trophy just makes things even worse. And that is why anger management gets a BS trophy rating of. I was really enjoying Army of Two, The Devil's Cartel, until I got to the final boss of my Insane Mode playthrough. The hardest difficulty wasn't that hard up until this battle, in which I ended up dying multiple times before beating it, but what made this trophy really bullshit is that I was forced to beat it 5 times over before I got the trophy to pop, as I encountered this weird glitch whereby after killing the boss and seeing the first part of the ending cutscene, a game over screen would then suddenly be displayed saying that Bravo, my AI teammate, was dead. Upon pressing continue, which is all I could do, it then just loaded me back at the start of the boss fight. So I had to do it all over again, and it's a really tough fight as there's so many enemies from up on the balconies, as well as the boss shooting at you, and then at some point some brutes will come in to use even more firepower against you, so it's easy for you to die, or for your AI teammates to just wander off across the map and end up getting killed, and if you can't revive them in time, you'll fail. or if he can't revive you in time, you'll fail. So there's lots of things that can happen to end your run here, because they just do massive damage to you. And me having to beat this again when I'd just beaten it was really annoying. And of course, I ended up failing several times right after, before I'd finally beaten him again, only for the exact same glitch to happen in the exact same spot. Even when I did it again the next time, and I planted the bomb on the Jeep and ran over to Bravo to make sure I could still see he was still alive before it would fade to black to show the cutscene, I'd still get this game over screen after the end of the first scene. Turning off the game and booting it up again to play through the level again didn't fix it either, as the same thing happened to me when beating it again. It was just madness. I couldn't believe it. And in the end, I think I just got lucky, or maybe the game finally got bored of screwing me over, but eventually I beat him and it let me get the win by showing me both cutscenes without that game over screen showing up, thus awarding me the trophy. But whoa, what a weird glitch. And I wish I actually recorded it on my phone when it happened, but despite that, it was still a fun game. But geez, the "look mum, I made it" trophy deserves this BS rating for making me have to beat it so many times before it would stop glitching out on me. I mean, why the hell didn't this happen on my normal run, man? What a joke. During the PlayStation 3 generation, I remember playing and platinuming Star Wars Force Unleashed and having a really bad time because the game was so glitchy that it really put me off ever buying Force Unleashed 2. But after buying it recently for just a couple of quid, I actually really enjoyed this game. It's really well done and so much smoother than the first game. And I actually really like the Platinum Journey here. But there was one trophy that was a bit frustrating, as it was quite finicky and it reminded me of the awkward and glitchy nature of the first game. And that was the Amplified trophy for, I think it's just electrocuting so many stormtroopers from these like lightning rod things. And this one was just a really awkward one to do, because during my runs of this level to get to this point, I'd have to lure about 5 or so stormtroopers over here and make sure I take out that robot before it kills any of them, and try and get them as close to this structure as possible before hitting it with force lightning, which will then reflect out lightning to strike the soldiers and hopefully kill those. But a lot of times it just wouldn't do it at all. I'd get none of them, or I'd only get 1 or 2, and I'd have to just keep trying it again and again. So that was like the only really frustrating trophy in that game, which was actually really fun. Disney Infinity started out quite fun, but the Platinum Journey quickly descended into a dull and tedious challenge to unlock the Platinum, and one of my biggest gripes with the game was just how slow it actually is. From the characters' running speeds, to the slow missions on the rowboats in Pirates, or the stupidly slow escort missions in the Incredibles playset. The game just seemed to really drag, and the most painful slog of all came in the form of the toy box when attempting to earn the 75 feats to unlock the awful Feat Master trophy. So this was just absolutely mind-numbingly tedious. So this is like the create mode, where you originally were able to build like areas and platforming sections and little mini levels and share them online with strangers and friends. And well, but in 2025 this doesn't really work. The online is not there anymore, but thankfully you can still do the toy box stuff and you can still earn this platinum offline. But the toy box mode, it's now kind of just redundant really, because you can't share them with anyone. And all of these feats are like mini achievements within this mode that get you to do certain things, like placing so many plants in the environment, placing so many enemies in the environment, driving your car for X amount of miles, flying for X amount of miles, being in the air for X amount of miles, drifting for so many miles. There's like multiple tiers to some of these like distance traveling challenges, as well as feats for like killing like 50 enemies or 100 enemies in a session. And it just took me so long to get 75 feats done, and some of them you can't actually do right away because you need to buy like certain parts, like there's a lot ones what you can do with like the fan, but you need to buy the fan in order to get it, and you need to get that via the slot machine that you use your tokens on. And then it's just a game of chance that whether or not it will land on that one to give you the fans. So there's this really horrible cycle of just grinding for these tokens to then try and spend them to try and get the things that you want so that you can do a feat with it. And it like a simple sounding feat can often take you like 10-15 minutes before you get everything that you need to then be able to unlock that feat. There was one for punting a townsperson, which I, for the longest ever time, I didn't even know what it actually was, because all I could do was just kick them. But turns out you have to actually jump in the air while holding them and then kick them to like punt them, which to me doesn't make sense at all. But yeah, that's how you get that one, if anyone was wondering, in 2025. Using specific items as well. Some of those, I think I was planting like 50 of the one thing down, only to then realise once I got past 50 and the feat didn't unlock, that I was using the wrong one, or not the specific one that it wanted. And trying to find certain things within the menu is really awkward as well, because it's like the Lego menu screen where it just shows you little pictures of everything, and you can just be spending ages going through them all. And same with like the enemy one, I spent ages farming 100 enemy kills in a session, only to later realise it wasn't in a card, but it was in a plane that I needed to use. So that was a fail as well. And like building things to do feats easier is definitely a trick, but you need to be able to have those parts to build stuff, like getting the fans to just have a stunt car floating in the air and just using some tape to grind those out. There was an awkward one where you had to land in a pool from a really great height, but the game's just really glitchy and you can't look down with the camera to like aim properly into the pool. So that one was just like pure chance of getting it. And like when I'm trying to put things down, I'd often reach the size limit of the map, and then it would just all be lagging up, and I wouldn't be able to put any more enemies in there or anything, and it just didn't really work for me. And having to run around this big flat map that's really dull and just jump over like 1,000 things to get one feat done, knowing I've got another 74 to do after that, was just really soul destroying. And another thing I didn't like about it was that the game has a tracker for each feat that will just notify you on your progress at certain milestones. So for example, you might see a little pop-up say you've got 50 out of 100 kills, but you can't tell if it's actually going up or not until you reach that point. So it's hard to know if you're doing the right thing for a challenge at the start. So like you could be doing the wrong kills and you wouldn't know until you saw a pop-up to say, yep, you're doing the right thing. So I just think it should have had better tracking in this menu for the feats to make it easier to know that you're doing the right thing. But yeah, 75 was way too many. I get that they want you to try and use this mode, and that's what the trophy is for, to encourage you to experiment with it. And I'm sure it was kind of cool back in the day, but doing Disney Infinity in 2025 and playing this toy box mode, it was the worst part of the game for me. I didn't really enjoy any of the countless hours I spent in this mode grinding for this trophy. So that is why the Feat Master Trophy deserves a BS rating of. The final game of today's look back at some PS3 Platinums is The Walking Dead Survival Instinct, which has a really nasty and tedious RNG based trophy called Every Man, Woman and Child, which requires you to travel at least once with every optional survivor. Now, there are 16 survivors that you need to recruit throughout the game, and that is usually done by completing an optional objective for one of the characters that you might find as you play through one of the levels, and they're mostly pretty easy. You just speak to them and then wander around the nearby area to grab whatever they need, bring it back, and then you've recruited them, and you just need to make sure that you then choose to travel with them as you exit that level and go on to the next one. And this trophy progress carries over across multiple playthroughs, so while you'll get all the story ones within 2 runs of the game, there are still a bunch of RNG based survivors that are entirely optional. I think it's maybe like 5 of them, and when playing through the game twice to get both endings, I didn't encounter a single one of these optional survivors, and I was travelling multiple times within each playthrough, and I didn't see a single one. So after getting all of the other trophies in the game and playing it for a 3rd time to get some of the missed trophies, I think I only ended up getting 1 optional survivor. So I then had to replay the game again, going down both routes to give me a chance to get the optional survivors. And while some of them I ended up just getting without really trying and reloading too many times, there were a few that did take me a long time to finally get lucky enough to get them in a location. as you only have a chance for them to appear, and that chance is really slim, so more often than not, you won't get it. Okay, so it's been, I think, over 2 hours since I got the last one. Yeah, and I've just been doing this constantly. Loaded the game, waiting to get through all the loading screens, get past the title screen, the autosave message, to continue the game, waiting on this loading screen to load me back into the map screen, then travelling on the map, picking the highways, and watching it just do nothing. It'll probably talk now, and if it talks, I need to quit the game. Okay, it didn't talk, so that's a good progress. Hopefully now the random event that's going to happen is the one I want. But it's usually the farmhouse or this like garage one at the moment. That's all I see to keep getting. Or it will say I've broken down or some bollocks. I've not had much luck here at all. So here we go. Roadblock, yeah, we've been getting that a lot as well. It's not going to be there. So we keep driving. Hope that we get another one, but it'll probably just be talking now. So you can hear it talking. You're going to quit out. And then I've got to wait for the game to load again. So, back on the menu, load Walking Dead. And we wait for it to eventually load. And we try it again. And that's all I've been doing for like 2 hours. Just for a trophy. How sad. Yeah, it's the last thing I need for the platinum. So, come on. God's sake. This is soul destroying. I don't know why they've done it like this. Why they had to put some RNG crap in for just 5 survivors. Like, it was perfectly fine as it was. And if you're gonna put RNG in it, at least put it at like 25% chance to see him or something, so I could naturally get it. I mean, I played through this game twice, going both routes, and I only found one naturally, just playing it. 1 out of 5. And then I've had to get the other 3, and still one in the final one. I've had to just do this constantly, and it's just so annoying. Why put this in? What purpose does it serve other than to just get you playing for long? And I guess that's probably what they wanted, but God's sake, just let me go. I did enjoy this game, to be fair, but this is just soul destroyer. So here we are, we're trying again. It's good that they're not talking, so we're getting another go on it. We're not moving much either. That might be good. Is this it? Oh, please, come on. Fingers crossed. Come on. Breakdown. See, that's not going to be it either. This is never going to work. And it's the farmhouse, look. It's all I'm getting. Oh, fucking roadblock. Again, roadblock. It's just... I think I might have found it. here goes. Oh my god. Please. Please be her. This better be it. God's sake. I think it is. It's the building by the garage. Just gonna not die. Oh my god. How do I get around there? Oh my god. Through here. Oh, tell me I can get through there. Oh no. Okay, get out of my way. Get out of my way. You open? Nope. Damn it. Where am I going? Where am I going? Oh shit. Shit the bed. There's a ladder. Yes, I think this is it. This is it, son. The platinum is mine. Right. Up here. She's got to be there. She's got to be there. Yes! Yes! There she is. Oh my god. You are a sight for sore eyes. Sarah Bell. Absolute pain in the ass. 2 to 3 hours to get this one.
I was cutting hair when they first came.
You can see from the clips I've shown here just how tedious it is to just constantly have to retry this in order to see if the survivor appears. Because when you go to travel, if you hear the characters talking on the loading screen, you know that it's failed and you're not going to stop in between levels, so you have to exit out and reload, and that takes a few minutes as well. And then even when it doesn't talk on the loading screen and you are stopping in between a level, it still doesn't guarantee that anyone's going to be there. And more often than not, I would just keep getting the same locations that I didn't want, that the characters weren't going to appear there. And even when I got the locations that were where characters would appear, they still wouldn't spawn there. So it was just this horrible grindy loop that I was stuck in, just replaying it over and over again until finally that 0.01% chance of them appearing actually looked out and I got them. Just an absolutely awful trophy. Okay, here we go. Don't think it'll pop here, but
Can't believe this is happening. Thanks. Running from those things really took it out of me.
we've got to travel with
Really pulled
it.
my ass out of the fire just now.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Right, are you going to pop? Oh, it is. There we go. Platinum unlocked. Hell yeah. Finally.